Hi everyone, welcome to our Friday TNT. It's the last day of the working week. Great to have you with us. Now, tomorrow's live TNT, the usual Saturday morning gig we do, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Thai time. So it's just a chance for you and me to get together and to discuss anything on your mind. Plenty of topics around, plenty of topics we're going to cover today, but we will start with what's happening with Thais in Israel at the moment. And Nation Thailand reports latest Thai death toll in Hamas attack on Israel rises to 21. That's according to the Thai Prime Minister. And the number of Thais who lost their lives in the Hamas attack on Israel has risen to 21 after another Thai worker was reported to have been killed. And the Prime Minister said his government was attempting to evacuate Thai nationals out of Israel, but it was a difficult task while the armed conflict was raging on. And just before we leave this page, I wanted to mention a new feature on Nation Thailand. It's this headphone symbol which says that you can listen to the story. It's something like this.
Latest Thai death toll in Hamas attack on Israel rises to 21 p.m. The number of Thais who lost their lives in the Hamas attack on Israel has risen to 21 after another
Thai worker was reported to have been killed. Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin said on Thursday. He said his government was attempting to evacuate Thai nationals out of Israel.
So you don't need me anymore. There's more and more sites using this technology. But yes, Nation Thailand now has an option for you to listen to a voice version of their publications. But we move on with this story. And the Prime Minister said the maritime route has to pass Gaza, which is too dangerous to use. Another route involves the use of cars towards Jordan. I can confirm that the government's doing its best to take care of Thais there and help them as quickly and safely as possible. And just the end of that article, about 7,000 Thais living in Israel, mostly workers hired to work in farms, have reportedly requested their evacuation to Thailand. And happy to report some of them have returned. We go to coconuts.co, the Bangkok edition, and families reunite in Thailand amidst the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict. And the first group of Thai nationals have returned to their families late yesterday morning. And efforts are being made by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as evacuations are carried out as quickly as possible for those who have yet to return. And the evacuation, however, is proving difficult as many Thai nationals, many of whom are labourers, are scattered throughout the country. And this report says over 5,990 people are requesting to return. And just on a broader note regarding that story, Thai PBS World reports Thailand remains neutral on Israeli-Palestine conflict. And it says that the Foreign Minister quickly issued a new statement clarifying Thailand's position on the Palestine-Israeli conflict. And the Foreign Minister reiterated that Thailand's position is clear, that we are neutral as we do not have sufficient information. We do, however, condemn acts of violence which are unacceptable to us. And Thailand has a consistent policy of supporting a two-state solution in the Middle East as advocated by the United Nations. So the Thai Foreign Minister making it clear about Thailand's stance on this conflict. Now we head to Chiang Mai, in a story that made a lot of media yesterday about an attack on the, usual peaceful streets of Chiang Mai. And ASEANnow.com reports an American tourist who's been identified as Brian A. in this story, aged 28, has been apprehended following a stabbing incident that occurred in the heart of Chiang Mai. Now, before I go on, it's quite obvious that most of this article has been rewritten by ChatGPT. I don't have any problems with ChatGPT being used as a tool. It's a very powerful tool when used properly. I believe that in the author area they should be saying that ChatGPT has been used, just so we know. I think that's fair for all readers. But it's quite obvious in this case that it has been, and you'll see what I mean. In Chiang Mai, a serene evening was abruptly disrupted when Brian A. 28-year-old US tourist, was implicated in a harrowing knife attack. Quick to the scene, the city's law enforcement neutralised the threat, reaffirming the security of both locals and international visitors. Well, what a whole lot of waffle. If you're going to use ChatGPT, use an editor and just turn this back into normal spoken English, please. On October 11th, an alarming episode of violence erupted. Brian, without apparent provocation, wielded a knife, leaving 2 overseas visitors injured. Among the victims was Ms. A, 42, a proprietor of a local entertainment spot, who courageously faced the assailant, catalysing an expedited intervention by the police, as reported by Thailand. Well, there are ways that you can stop ChatGPT sounding like a sort of Shakespearean thesaurus. It's all in the instructions that you give it, but obviously there's an important story behind this, and I don't want to take away from that. Let's check the video footage and just watch the bottom right of the screen. We've got 2 people who will walk just outside of that. Here they come, and the arrow from Thailand is showing the attack about to happen, runs up, stabs the person, and then he starts running after him, I suppose realising he's been stabbed. And we can see that the person being stabbed, along with some of his friends and followers, are in hot pursuit of the American. We'll go to some additional coverage on this from nationthailand.com. American tourist arrested for allegedly stabbing 2 Dutch tourists in Chiang Mai. And Chiang Mai police arrested an American man early Thursday for allegedly stabbing a Dutch father and his son on a road in Chiang Mai's main city district on Wednesday. And police said that Brian Andrew Burgraff, who was 27, was arrested at 1 a.m. while walking on a road, Tambon Jedyod. Now, in another report, the timings of the arrest and the nationalities of some of the victims is reported differently. I suppose I'm just presenting all these just as the information that we have to hand. And police say they found a 15-centimetre long knife in his trouser pocket, along with a packet of hashish, broccoli, you know why I can't say that word, and we go on. Police claim that Burgraff confessed to attacking the Dutch father and son, identified as Eric Jan and Colin Mike, and the victims were among a group of 8 Dutch tourists walking along the ancient Chiang Mai moat when they were stabbed at 9 p.m. An eyewitness has told police that Burgraff walked up behind the group before launching the frenzied attack, and Jan suffered a 10-centimetre long cut to his throat and 2 stabs on his back, while his son was left with a long, deep gash on his arm. And the 2 were rushed to the Chiang Mai hospital after police were alerted to the attack. Let's go to a coconuts.co version, this from Coconuts Bangkok, and police apprehend American for stabbing 2 tourists in Chiang Mai. And the suspect, a 28-year-old American identified as Brian Andrew Burgraff, was arrested for stabbing tourists around the city, and the incident was first reported around 6 p.m. by the owner of the Home Bar 1981, when she told authorities that the suspect began brandishing a knife and stabbed 2 foreigners in the vicinity, a Norwegian who's currently in ICU in a critical condition, and another who was described as a white person of average height. Then it says the police arrested the suspect around 1:30 p.m. outside the Jedyod Plaza Marketplace. Well, that should be 1:30 a.m. I'd imagine, but some different versions of what happened, but the video quite explicit. Hope I'm not demonetized for sharing that with you. Moving on with our program today, Friday's TNT, and an invitation to subscribe to the channel. I'd be very grateful for that support. As we go to nationthailand.com, nearly 1,800 unregistered guns seized under police gun clearance operation, and a total of 1,789 unregistered blank firing guns and BB guns were seized by the police between October 9 and 11, while 1,593 suspects have been apprehended under the so-called gun clearance operation. And the National Police Chief says they aim to get rid of all kinds of illegal guns, including real guns, modified guns and blank firing guns. And officials have investigated 3,224 suspicious locations nationwide and arrested 1,593 suspects. And there's a list there of what they confiscated. And the story goes on to say that they've been combing social media, shut down accounts suspected of links to illegal guns. And the operation saw 79 Facebook accounts being shut, as well as 14 accounts on TikTok, 148 on X, and 14 on Instagram, 26 YouTube channels as well. So somewhat of a war on guns by the Thai police at the moment, and they're showing that they're deadly serious. Of course, all in the wake of the shooting at Siam Paragon last week. Whether they can make any big dint into the number of guns on the streets in Thailand is yet to be seen. But that story reported by nationthailand.com. We go to bangkokpost.com now. And it says that ministry seeks venues to open until 4 a.m. So just another one of these policies that they're acting quite quickly on. Let's see if it's going to happen or not. And the story says the Interior Ministry is working with related parties to find suitable locations as pilot areas for the government's plan to allow night entertainment venues to stay open until 4 a.m. As we've said in the past, a lot of these venues are staying open well past the closing time anyway. Whether extending it legally is going to make much difference on the ground, well, it's yet to be seen. And the Interior Minister, Anatan Charvirakun, said yesterday that the Interior Ministry is willing to follow the new regulation set by the Prime Minister that would extend night entertainment venue operating hours from 2 to 4 a.m. When asked how the authorities would ensure tourist safety, Mr. Anatan said night entertainment venue operators must strictly screen their customers and cooperate with officers. Exactly how are they going to strictly screen their visitors? Are they going to have a detection device they have to walk through? They're going to be pat down, questioned? I mean, they're just going out for a good night out. I'm not sure how much of this would be enforced. The story goes on saying that the National Police Chief said the police are willing to facilitate the new regulation, even though finalised details are yet to be released. If the extension of operating hours is endorsed, all venues, both inside and outside the pilot locations, must strictly follow the law. As I said, I'm not really sure how making an official later closing time is really going to change much that's already happening. We go to the latest in the flooding situation in nationthailand.com, and it reports dam overruns flood over 10,000 homes in Ayutthaya. And these households in Ayutthaya province have been flooded due to water overruns released from the Chao Phraya Dam upstream. And 8 out of Ayutthaya's 16 districts were flooded yesterday, with a total of 10,379 households affected, and agricultural areas in those districts also have been badly flooded after days of downpours. And photos and coverage there from nationthailand.com. We go to ASEAN now, and it says student escapes escalator mishap unscathed. Well, this latest incident happened in Chiang Mai. A lot of attention, of course, these days to walkways and escalators after the incident at the Don Mueang airport. And a shopping mall in Chiang Mai bore witness to a dramatic scene when a female student's shoelace became entrapped in the mechanism of a moving escalator. Once again, the hand of ChatGPT very obvious in this particular narrative. And as the student from a renowned university in the province was descending, the loose lace of her sneaker got sucked into the last step of the escalator. Panic ensued, but quick thinking prevailed. She managed to slip off her shoe and jump to safety. And the incident occurred around 3:30 p.m. A nearby cleaning staff promptly pressed the emergency stop button, halting the escalator's menacing grind. Apostrophe in the right place and everything. One thing you get with ChatGPT is really good spelling and grammar. And the student recounted the horror, describing how the seemingly innocuous act of a lace coming undone turned into a moment of sheer terror. Today's program brought to you by ChatGPT. Really, you need an editor to go through and remove all this stupid, flowery language that does nothing to help the reporting of these stories. But that's it for today's TNT. Thank you very much for watching. Big thumbs up to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine. There's a link in the description below for a special deal for TNT viewers. Otherwise, go to 5starmarinephuket.com and you can read all about the great places that you can visit with 5 Star Marine. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Thai time. Otherwise, thanks for watching.